Hi guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about vertical shifts of both cosine and sine. The vertical shift is a shift up or down. So this is our normal y equals sine of x. We want to focus in on our 5 key points. We're going to start at 0, end at 0. Midway we're back to 0. And then we climb up to a height of 1. Then we go back to 0, -1 to 0. Where cosine starts at the amplitude, ends at the amplitude. So it starts at 1, goes down to 0, to -1, back to 0, and 1. So the general form you're going to see right here, the amplitude is always out in front of sine or cosine. The frequency, we haven't focused a lot on the frequency yet so far, but the frequency is in front of the x. And this right here, the D, that's our vertical shift. The vertical shift tells you that either you're going to move it up or move it down. And this right here is the amplitude in front, the frequency, and of course D is the vertical shift up and down. So we're going to take a look right here. This, we're going to go ahead and graph cosine of x. I'm going to show you step by step for the first example. And then as you guys move on, you guys can either plug that right into your calculator, or you guys can just understand that if you're starting at 1 and you do a vertical shift up 1, it's now going to be at 2. But we're going to be going from 0 to 360. I'm going to begin to start to use radians. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we have pi over 2 radian, pi, 3 pi over 2 radian, and 2 pi. We're going to again focus in on our 5 key points. 0, pi over 2, which is 90, pi radian, which is 180, 3 pi over 2, and 2 pi. I know I keep mentioning this, but I don't really care if you guys use radian or if you use degree. Okay, so we're doing the cosine. Cosine, we're going to start at the amplitude. We're going to end at the amplitude. So we have an amplitude of 1, so we're going to start at 1, go down to 0, to -1, 0, and back up to 1. You guys hear my crazy dog? We have visitors in the back fishing, and he likes to just bark and growl at them. All right, so we have 1, 2, 3. We have 1, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, -1, 1, 2, 3, -2. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and graph this. Now I want to make sure that you guys realize that we haven't talked about this shift yet. I'm just graphing this y equals cosine x. So you guys start at 1, go down to 0, -1, back to 0, up to 1. Okay. And you guys can see right there that is y equals cosine x. Now this +1 means that we moved every point up 1 point. So if this was at 1, the vertical shift is up to 2. This is at 0, you're going to move this up to 1. This is at -1, move this up to 0, move this up to 1, and move this up to 2. And you guys will see right here that we have y equals cosine x plus 1 with the shift up 1 unit. Okay, make sure when you have 2 graphs here that you guys can go ahead and write down the equation of the y equals cosine x plus 1 if you are graphing both of them. Okay, moving right along to the second example. We have y equals sine x minus 2 from -2 pi to +2 pi. So you guys can go ahead and focus in on your key points for sine. So we have 0, 90, 180, 270, and 360. Our y value, sine, starts at 0, ends at 0. You're going to go down to, start at 0, go up to 1, 0, -1, back to 0. Okay, so you guys can go ahead. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to go 1, 2, 3 here. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so 90, 180, 270, 360, -90, -180, -270, -360. I did notice that some of you guys were not going ahead and labeling, so please make sure that you are labeling your X and your Y. Now, you guys have to be very careful here, because if this is at -2 and I'm going to shift this point down 2 points, you guys have to realize that we're going to be at -3. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So this is -1, -2, -3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and graph this sine. We're going to be starting at 0. Now I do want you guys to realize that I'm graphing y equals sine of x. And then I'm going to go ahead, this right here is my vertical shift. I'm going to be shifting the entire unit or graph 2 units down. So I'm going to start at 0, go to 1, back to 0, -1 to 0. And then you're going to focus in on the 5 key points over here. You're going to go to -1, back to 0, up to 1, back down to 0. Okay, so now you're going to take every single one of those points and you're going to be shifting it down 2. Negative means down, and you're going to be going down 2. So if this is at 0, you're going to go down 1, 2 to -2. This is at -1, you're going to go down 2, 1, 2 to -3. This one right here is at 0, so you're going to move it down 2 spots. That's at -2. This is at 1, so you're going to shift it down 2 spots. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, so you guys should have this right here. And make sure that you guys label this. Y is equal to sine x minus 2. This one right here was just y is equal to sine of x. Now, they do want us to go ahead and what's the min, the max, the equation of the midline, and the amplitude here. Okay, so you guys can see that the max right here, the max, and you're going to be focusing in on this equation right here only. So you're only going to be focusing in on this right here as you answer these questions. Okay, so when you guys do, you can see the max right here is at -1, the min -3. The equation of the midline, you're going in between -3 and 1. You're going to see that that right there is at -2. So y is equal to -2. And the amplitude, or the highest point right here, is at 1. Okay, we're going to go ahead and do one more. This one, the reason why I'm going to be doing this one right here is because we're going to be starting with an amplitude. So we have x and we have y. We're going to focus in on our key points: 0, 90, 180, 270, 360. Again, I'm just going to focus in on y equals 2 sine x, and then I have to move it up every single point, up 3, the vertical shift. I'm going to be moving those points up 3 units. Now this sign, we're going to start at 0, midway is going to be 0, and the end is going to be 0. But you guys have to remember, now we're going to be going up to the amplitude, okay? This first problem here went to 1 and -1 because it had the amplitude of 1 and -1. This right here has an amplitude of 2, so we're going to be moving up to 2, and then we're going to go down to -2. Now, you guys have to think about when you label this, if you're moving and shifting this up 3 units, we're at 2, you guys have to make sure you leave enough space and label this up to 5. 2 plus 3 is going to have to be shifted up to 5. So they want us to do from 0 to 360. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to go ahead and do in radians. Pi over 2, which is 90. Pi radians, which is 180. 3 pi over 2 radians, which is 270. And 2 pi radian is 360. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So count by ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, -5. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and graph the original. We're going to start at 0. Right here, we're going to be going up to 2, back down to 0, to -2, to 0. Now this right here, there's no shift that's happened. This is the original. Y equals 2 sine x. Okay, now this plus 3, that means you're shifting every point up 3 units. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So you're going to have this right here, and that's going to give you y equals 2 sine x plus 3. Okay, we're going to go ahead and answer the max, the min, the equation of the midline, and the amplitude. You're going to see that the max right here is 5. The min is the lowest point, and you're going to see that that is going to be at 1. Okay, the equation of the midline is the midway point between the max and the min, between 1 and 5. So you're here and here, and you're going to see that that's going to be the equation y equals 3. And the amplitude, that's going to give you the highest point right there. Your amplitude would be 2 there. Okay? Do you guys have any questions on that? Please feel free to email me and I will answer any questions. If you want to give number 4 a shot, and I can give you a few extra points if it's correct. And also at the very end, if you guys tell me what happened in the video with my dog, I will give you a bonus point. All right, have a great day. Talk to you guys later. Bye.